Donald Trump suggesting that a major shift could be coming with the deportation policy. But Hispanic Chamber of Commerce CEO Javier Palomarez says it could be too little too late for the GOP nominee. Javier, thanks for joining us. Why would it be too little too late if Donald Trump says, in my role as the GOP nominee and as I've traveled the country and I've learned more and I've become more educated on this, I want to make some adjustments. Isn't that exactly what you want your commander-in-chief to do?
Yeah, listen, Donald Trump began his political career by denouncing immigrants, denouncing the Hispanic community.
Immigrants or illegal immigrants?
Down. Illegal immigrants, immigrants, the Hispanic community, period. He has denounced them for the last year. This is a classic case of way too little, way too late. This is an act of a desperate candidate that knows he's going to lose with the African-American and the Hispanic community. He can talk to anybody he wants. He can deliver all the canned speeches he wants. He is going to lose with the Hispanic community.
Javier, I saw one poll in Nevada where he was getting 40% to Hillary's 50%. Now, I know maybe that's an outlier or Nevada is different or unique, but I think the most critical point of this is, and it goes, for me at least, it goes beyond November. I happen to like the idea that any Republican is reaching out, that any Republican understands that even if it may not work now, maybe they've opened a door that can create a sort of dialogue and relationship that gives blacks and Hispanics alternatives when it comes to the voting booth and even more political power.
I agree, Charles. I think that substance and trustworthiness are important. Consistency is important. You have here an individual who's flip-flopping yet again. If you want to consider somebody who had some substance, look at Jeb Bush. During the primaries, Jeb Bush ran on a very conservative but compassionate platform. He talked about immigration reform then, and believe me, I was surprised when Donald Trump attacked him and referred to him as being weak for having that compassionate approach toward immigration reform. And now, 6 months later, when he needs the community, he's doing exactly what Jeb Bush did 6 months ago. This is ridiculous. It illustrates that Donald Trump will say anything to get a vote.
Well, you know, listen, politicians tend to do that, even novice politicians. But don't you also, wouldn't you agree, though, you're saying that Donald Trump is reverting to something that you thought was great, that he's actually embracing something that you agreed with. You're just upset he didn't do it fast enough?
I am outraged that he didn't do it fast enough. Timing is everything. If he had been talking about the Hispanic community, about immigration reform, about lifting up minority communities a year ago, this would ring true with me.
Here's the problem.
It doesn't ring true with me, and it doesn't ring true with any of the Hispanics in this country. The African-American community thinks it's laughable.
Yeah, listen, here's the problem with that, though, Javier. How can blacks and Hispanics ever expect Republicans and those who believe that the vote, they can never get the vote, to your earlier point, to ever really make a move if it's going to be deemed too little too late every single time?
Charles, please, Charles. Donald Trump came to Tampa 48 hours ago or so, and he delivered a speech about the African-American and minority communities being lifted up. He talked about economic development and creating jobs. By the way, he delivered it in Tampa. Now, I know Mayor Bob Buckhorn. He has done an amazing job of growing that economy. That economy, by the way, the Tampa job growth rate is the leading job growth in the state of Florida, and it has been for the last 3 years. And by the way, Tampa is 52% minority. Donald Trump doesn't have any idea what he's talking about. Well, he goes, of all cities in Florida to go to, he goes to the one that's leading in job growth.
Javier,
it's another illustration of the fact that the guy doesn't know what he's talking about.
That he's giving these speeches for a national audience, despite wherever the location might be. I love your passion, and I want to talk to you about this more because I don't think we want to box out the Republican Party when they make these overtures and always tell them it's too little too late. Maybe open dialogue may mean something, maybe not for you November, but I'm sure you want to see this continue for the next 4, 5, 6 years or whatever. Got to bring it back soon,
I think ultimately the losers here are the Republican Party, the American people. They had amazing choices in Jeb Bush, in John Kasich. They elected a buffoon instead.
Oh, God. Why did you have to end it on that? That was a cheap shot. All right, Javier. I'll see you again soon.